Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Le Belvedere, a wedding venue in Wakefield, Quebec. So I've shot at Le Belvedere too many times now, which is a good thing. I feel like I just wanted to give some perspective on the potential and what it could be if you were to have your wedding there. So first thing I want to talk about is get ready. They have two places where you usually get ready. They have like this bridal suite that they built, I think maybe a year or two ago, which has a lot of great lighting. It's a great little space, a lot of light bounces off the walls and stuff because it's like all white in there, or like an off-white, so it's great for lighting and stuff like that. And they also have like where the bride gets her makeup done, there's like these nice lights and stuff like that, so it just has a nice vibe to it. Almost feels like you're in a hair salon, but a really nice like cottagey hair salon, best way I can describe it. Great place. The second get ready spot is just a little bit down the hill, and it's usually where the groom gets ready, but it could also be where the bride gets ready. In the little house, there's like this little white room, and I've shot some weddings where that's where the bride got ready, and it worked out fine. She just had a bigger bridal party, so she needed that bigger space, and that worked out. And the groom got ready like at a hotel in the city or something like that. You guys could probably get more details on it from Le Belvedere, how they work it out, but just to give you some perspective. In that same little house, there's also an upstairs, and then the kitchen has like a more wood-ish vibe to it, so more for the guys. And then upstairs, it's kind of the same thing, same theme. So depending on if you want to, you could use that little house for the guys or the girls, whichever, but either way, it's got a real nice cottagey, homey vibe to it. I'm pretty sure they have an option where you can stay the night there. I just don't know how that works out with their packages, but it's a nice little getaway on the day of, and I can only imagine what that feels like the night of, after your wedding's done, and just being able to walk from your reception down like 5 minutes down, and just that's your place, which I feel like would be amazing. Next thing I want to talk about is portrait session options. There is many spots that you can take photos at Le Belvedere. They're all really nice and scenic. And depending on the time of year, it really creates a different vibe each time. So the first spot I'm gonna talk about, it's off just to, so here's Le Belvedere, and then off to the right and a little bit low, there's like this spot where you get like the trees, and I'll just say mountains, but they're not mountains, in valleys and all that stuff. In the daytime, it looks absolutely awesome. If it's a misty, like overcast day, it looks really, really nice. You get this effect and vibe that you're not gonna always get everywhere you go. And then also the last thing is, if you wanna do your sunset photos there, it always looks good. There's like these trees right near there, and the sun comes peeking through the trees, and it just makes for like some really, really nice artistic shots, just kind of playing with light. I've seen photographers' photos from this area, and me personally as a videographer, like I absolutely love this space. That's where I usually go. You just get a different look and a different vibe that you're not gonna get at all wedding venues. So that's the first spot. The next spot I'm going to talk about is off to the far left. So here's the venue. This was the spot I was just talking about. And then off to the far left of the venue, there's a spot there. There's one like little, there's actually two spots over there. So there's one little spot where they had like this little deck, and that little deck, I've done first looks there. I've done portraits there. Your backdrop is all the trees. You're nestled in the trees. So if it's a really, really bright day, you can kind of use this area. The trees will kind of block out the sun, so you're not getting super harsh lighting on your face, which is great. Just to have that option if you're doing a summer wedding, to have that option to kind of have something like that is great. The next spot is literally, here's that spot, and then if you go walk a little bit down, there's this little patch here where it's like, I don't even know if they set it up, but we asked if we could shoot there. We were able to shoot there, and it's like there's just trees there. And I shot there recently in the fall, and I did a first look there, and it was amazing. I'll just show you the footage, but this is also another option where you could do a first look. The only thing is you have to walk down a bit, and it's a little bit rougher terrain to get down there. But if you're not wearing like stiletto heels or something like that, then you'll be fine. But it just depends on if you're comfortable with that. If you are, it's a great little spot. It's intimate. It's quiet. And yeah, it was great for us, and the bride really loved it too. We kind of just thought of that on the fly, me and the photographer, and it worked out really good. And if you don't want to do your first look at some of the locations that I've mentioned, another option, you can drive about 5 minutes away from the Belvedere, and there's this little place. It has like a red bridge, and pretty much I've had couples do their first look there. It sits on like a little lake, or sorry, lake. It sits like on a river. So I've had couples do their first look there. I've had couples do their portrait session there. So it's a really nice little spot, intimate spot, and it's not too far from the actual venue. So if you're willing to like shuttle like yourself, your fiance or your husband down there, then you can get a good first look spot. And it's usually not too busy, and usually people are pretty cool about like walking by and stuff like that. So it's a great little spot for just if you want something different. Next thing I want to talk about is the ceremony. So this is the ceremony space. All times of year, it looks absolutely breathtaking. During the fall, you've got all the orangish, yellowish trees in the background, just off the railing and stuff like that. That's your view. It looks absolutely beautiful. There's always like this one eagle that's flying around there, and it's ended up in like 3 of my videos, which was really cool. If you're there in the winter, it's really nice as well. I haven't done a lot of winter weddings there. I think I did 2 or 3, and even in the winter, this place looks amazing. It feels like a winter wonderland. It feels like an escape. Honestly, there's not one season where this place does not look beautiful. Like, it looks great all times of year. My personal favorite is probably the fall. I just love seeing all the trees and changing colors and all that kind of stuff. While we're on the topic of the ceremony, there's also an indoor ceremony space. So if it does rain or you don't want to do outside because it's colder, you can always do an indoor ceremony as well. And it has like these big windows, and you still get a view of like the trees and the valleys and stuff like that. So that's cool. Next thing I want to talk about is the reception. I think when you do your first dance, they usually do the first dance outside, and they usually do it with sparklers. They usually line people up. Cool thing about the Belvedere is they are super organized. Shout out to Taylor. They're super organized, and they usually use a blowtorch to light everybody's sparklers. The good thing about this is that as you guys are walking into your first dance, everybody's sparklers are lit. So sometimes that doesn't always go well, like the synchronization of getting everyone to light their sparklers, but at the Belvedere, they do this really, really well. When it comes to your first dance, you essentially walk in through the sparklers, and then afterwards you're underneath like the chandelier once the sparklers go out. It's still well lit, and then if your videographer has a light, that also looks great as well. That's usually what I do. Another option, I recommended it just as an idea to a bride, and she actually said, you know what, I'm gonna try that. That sounds like a good idea. We did it underneath, off to the left where the cocktail hour usually happens. We did their first dance there. So we did the same thing with the sparklers, and then they danced pretty much where the twinkle lights are off to the left. If you have a smaller wedding, I think it will be more effective. If you have a big wedding, like with a lot of people, then I think the first option is probably better. But I guess you can kind of discuss it with a Belvedere to see what would be better for you. Regardless though, I think you should get photos done. As far as portraits are concerned though, I think you should still get portraits done at nighttime underneath those twinkle lights. I did it at the past couple weddings that I shot. I did it where we did like a little, it was like 5 minutes, like legit 5 minutes. No one's gonna miss you for 5 minutes. Literally, we went out, the couple was underneath the twinkle lights. I said, pop a bottle of champagne, and I said, have your own little party for like 3 minutes, and they did, and this was the footage we got. And then I've done that a few times, and it's been great footage that kind of just looks so different in your wedding photo album or your wedding video. So I think that's a great option as well. So when you actually do your reception, you have the main area, the main like dancing area where you walk in. In the daytime, it's very well lit with all the natural light coming through the windows. And then at nighttime, it has a vibe to it as well. One thing I'll say about the Belvedere is they have very nice dance lighting. Like they have like these lights that are like built into the ceiling, and you'll see in these shots, like it just gives like a party vibe. You know, sometimes when you go to venues, like the DJ might have his lights and they're good, but I just feel like it's a different story at the Belvedere because they're like built into the ceiling, so they're just great. If you're doing speeches, there's a lot of great spots that you can put the podium. This is usually where they put it. I usually try to get an angle that's not boom right with the window light coming through, but you have an option to, your videographer has an option to do it different ways. But depending on the day, sometimes you get a lot of light, so, and then depending on the season, you can kind of decorate it. If you're considering this venue and you can get your date, I would highly recommend it. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I can answer them for you. I would highly recommend this venue if you're looking at it.